a report just came out from a company. Well, it's a company called PwC, and they do surveys. They just, go around the business world and do surveys and stuff like that. And they did a survey called the PwC Pulse Service, right? And in that report that came out, what they did was interviewed 700 U.S. executives and board members from various industries, right? And about half of the respondents said they were preparing to reduce headcount or already have. Now, that's major, because the top list of businesses, what we all hear about all the time, is like the Fortune 500. This is 700 executives. So they got data from, they have survey information from a lot of different heads of companies. And they're saying that they are gearing up to cut a large percentage of their employees. And the reason is because of what's going on in the economy, the recession, the inflation rates right now, how hard it is to even find workers, how hard it is to find people to work, which we know that's not true. We know they got something else going on. On top of that, roughly 46% of companies are either dropping or reducing signing bonuses, which became commonplace over the past year as businesses tried to lure in new workers amid an increasing tight labor market. Another 44% rescinding offers entirely. Think about that. I have a theory, right? Because this whole recession thing has been bubbling for a while now. They finally announced that we were in, legit recession territory, but we've been hearing about this thing bubbling for a while. And the thing about it is, my theory, a lot of these major, because if you go on like Indeed or something, there's jobs galore posted on there. You see there's jobs everywhere. They have a lot of jobs posted up right now, but for some reason, a lot of people filling out a lot of these applications, going through a lot of these different interviews. They're putting people through 3-5 interviews, have recruiters hitting you up all over the place, and then they're just not hiring anybody. So I think there has been an unofficial hiring freeze with most of these companies for a long time, but now they're announcing, like some companies are announcing hiring freezes, and then here, out of 700 executives that they interviewed, 44% said they're rescinding offers entirely. So even people who feel like they got the job, these companies are taking it back. I even seen, because I'm in a tech group, a black tech group on Facebook, I seen a post in there about a relocation. An employee received a new job, or they got an offer and they accepted the offer and they relocated. So they moved to another city, and then before they were, like right before they were about to start the job, the company took the offer back. They quit their last job, they left their last where they were living at, and now they're stuck in a new city with no job because this company rescinded the offer. So think about it, like if anybody knows, at least general signs for when an economy is about to get very, very bad for people and citizens of America, when the jobs go, that's when everything else follows, right? I know a lot of times people have been looking for this housing crash, and they just pretty much the only thing they've been saying is what goes up must come down. But we haven't had anything to force prices back down. But one thing that will force prices back down is if people lose their job in mass numbers, right? So if we start to see massive layoffs like we did in about 12 years ago, if we start to see massive layoffs, that's when you'll see people start to lose out on these homes that they've been spending top dollar to buy over the last 2 years. Because you got to think about it. And I talked about this in my Divi video, and I'll bring that back too. I did an episode of 3 Minutes with Kilo on Divi, and I talked about how this is super dangerous, that all of these houses are being sold and people are being put under these ridiculous contracts for homes that are highly inflated, right? Homes with highly inflated values right now is super dangerous, and I compared it to the housing crisis with the super lending thing. I think that people will be stuck. So let's say the economy falls apart. You just spent $400,000 on a house that 3 years ago was $200,000, right? It's never the what we just seen over the last 2 years with increased home prices. We're not going to see that again for a long time. This hasn't never even happened before where home prices jumped this much in value in such a short period of time. We're not going to see it again. So when these home prices fall back down, it's going to take many years for them to climb back to where they are now. So for the people who are barely above water when it comes to equity in these new homes they purchase, or some of them are maybe have negative equity because, they went way over asking price and they had to cover some money that wasn't, the home didn't appraise at a certain value, so they had to put even more money down just to get the house. They are going to have a hard time in this housing crisis that's about to happen, right? And if jobs go, housing goes next. And it's going to be scary for a lot of people. And I suggest that everybody brace for shock. I know a lot of people have been preaching this, change jobs as many times as you can so you can keep on getting more and more money. But that is just not a good strategy in a market like what we have now. This market is very shaky. It has been shaky for the last few years. Now, I'm not telling anybody what to do. If you feel like you see an opportunity to go get some more money, do what you have to do. But you have to keep in mind that leaving your job right now in this current market is a little bit short-sighted. And it kind of makes it look like you're not paying attention to what's going on. If you leave your job currently, right now, you are putting yourself in a position to be one of the newest people at a new company. So if everything falls apart, who do you think they're getting rid of first? A lot of companies use the last in, first out method, meaning if you're the last one hired, you have the least seniority here, we'll fire you first or lay you off first. And you haven't even been here long enough to get any of the benefits that come with working somewhere for a prolonged period of time, right? So keep that in mind when you go jumping job to job right now in a market like this that's so shaky. Think about it, man. If you are at a place in your employment career where you can pay your bills, where you can take care of your family, where you can do what you need to do day to day, my opinion, stay where you are. Stay put for now. Because things I feel will get shaky.